Hello, writers. We've got our this week's 5 new words that we're going to zero in on. Maybe you know the meanings of these words already and have heard them before, but we're working on taking them to the next level so that you don't just hear and understand them, but you master them. You can use these tools in your own writing to create the kind of feelings and effects that you want. So we're going to start with an example story. The sky flushed pink in the early morning. The great horned owl brooded on his empty stomach, scanning the grass for a meal, his last chance before dawn. Mouse emerged from his hole, one eye on a berry bush, the other on the owl. Maybe he could make a run for the berries? The owl crinkled his eyes. Mouse bolted. So we've got these 5 words here. Let's take a look at them one at a time. First one is brood, to keep thinking about something in a distressed or troubled way, to worry. You can see Sasuke here is brooding about something. Brooding usually happens about something that from the past. You don't usually brood about the future. That would be more like worrying. But you brood over if somebody insulted you, or if you made a mistake, or if there was some kind of bad thing that happened to you. Like you might brood over, oh, that time I broke my arm, the pain, it was so bad, so bad. Or you might brood over, I can't believe she said that to me. I can't believe it. She said that. And you think about it over and over. That's brooding. Crinkle, to make wrinkles or cracks by bending something, also can refer to a soft crackling sound. Paper can crinkle really nicely when you crumple it. Aluminum foil can crinkle, and it doesn't necessarily have to make a sound. So in the story, it said the owl's eyes crinkled, and so that would be talking about the shape of the eyes when they narrow into these lines that are kind of wrinkly. Bolt, to suddenly move or run, often to escape. Um, if you're bolting, a lot of the times you're trying to get away from a situation. So this guy with his briefcase, maybe his manager came to talk to him and he didn't want to talk to his manager. So, oh, too late. He bolted. He ducked out before his manager could talk to him. So you could bolt from a conversation you don't want to have. You could bolt from danger if something is chasing after you. And that's just comes from the idea of the lightning bolt, because the lightning bolt goes instantly across the sky, and that's how fast you're trying to go. Emerge, to come out or come into being. You can see this gopher here is emerging from his hole. Emerge is similar to appear, where something just kind of pops up, but emerge happens more slowly. So if the gopher appeared, then you have the sense of like, oh, he wasn't there, and then he was. But emerge is, oh, maybe he poked his nose out first, and then his teeth, and he looked around before he comes out all of the way. Flush, to glow, especially with a reddish color. So the sky can flush, like in our example story, where it turns red in the morning and at sunset. But a person can also flush, like Charlie Brown has a great pink flush in his cheeks here. A person might flush if they're embarrassed, like if you make fun of them. They also might flush if you give them a compliment. So if you say something nice, then a person's cheeks might get red because they have that feeling. They might flush just because they're hot and moving around so much. You could say, oh, his face was flushed after the race because he had moved so much. And so those are our words. Let's go back to our example story one more time. The sky flushed pink in the early morning. The great horned owl brooded on his empty stomach, scanning the grass for a meal, his last chance before dawn. Mouse emerged from his hole, one eye on a berry bush, the other on the owl. Maybe he could make a run for the berries? The owl crinkled his eyes. Mouse bolted. You're going to use these words next in the next video about sentences in the tool shed, and you're going to use those words to fill in your sentence templates to do an exercise.